We're gonna start up here at the tongue of your unit. At the front of it, you've got your automated tongue jack. It's got 2 buttons on here. One of them is gonna turn the light on and off, so you can hook up and disconnect in a little bit of darkness. The next one here is the retract and extend button. That's gonna retract and extend your motorized tongue jack here. Up is gonna bring it up, down is gonna bring it down. It's pretty self-explanatory. You've also got your emergency brake cable here. You're going to attach this at some point to securely attach this to your vehicle, and if for whatever reason this is going to come unattached from your vehicle, this is going to yank and it's going to lock up the brakes on this thing. You've also got your 7-way connector. That's going to plug into the back of your vehicle, and that's going to give you the running lights, the reverse lights, the brake lights, and the turn signals for your unit when it's hooked up to the vehicle. Right here, you've got your 2 20-pound propane tanks. They're fed into the unit with an even flow regulator. This is going to dictate which one of these is it's pulling from, and then you can open the corresponding valve up, and then it's going to let propane go into the unit. Behind the propane tanks, you have your 12-volt battery that's going to power the unit when it's not plugged in. Your propane tanks are protected by a cover. You sit this over your propane tanks, and you can open up this quick release hatch here in case you don't want to take it off to get in and out of the access panel for your propane tanks. You can also cinch this with a bungee cord at the bottom to keep this thing from going off, or you can zip tie it with those holes there. You can zip tie it to the frame. Just your preference. If you want to get it easy, if you want to get easy access to it, I recommend just bungee cording it. You do have a saddle here for your 7-way, so that way when you're not using your 7-way, you can put it in there and it keeps it up and away from the floor. Over on this side of the unit, you have your sticker here that's going to give you your tire and loading information. That's going to tell you the PSI of the tires. It's also going to tell you on the side of the tire what the PSI is for. That's going to also have the manufacturer numbers, all the numbers you're going to need if you ever need to get in contact with Forest River. And you've got your VIN number here, or you can just call us and we can do all that for you. Underneath those, you have your side compartment. It's going to open up. It does go all the way across to the other side. And on this side, you have your stabilizer jack, manual crank handle, 3/4 socket. It's going to fit over your jacks. You can use this to go up and down with your jacks. You can also get a 3/4 socket and put it on a low power drill. You can run those down, but you don't want to do anything too extreme on those because they're more designed for that manual crank handle. Up here in the side of the compartment, you've got your battery disconnect. That's gonna when that's in the on position, it's gonna draw power from the battery to power the unit when it's not plugged in. When you're not using your unit, you can flip that switch to the off position and your unit will stop drawing power from the battery attached to it. Behind this panel here, you can't really see it, but behind this panel, this is where your water pump is at for winterizing and dewinterizing the unit. Or if you have any issues with your water pump, it's gonna be behind this panel here with these 2 bolts here that you can remove with a size 2 square bit. The keys on this are gonna be the, not the purple keys, but the other keys that are on your key ring for it. And then we're going to move over here to your water connection ports. Below this, but the very bottom one is going to be the connection port where you're going to hook your hose and regulator up to it. The regulator will just sit in here. You'll turn it on, and this is how you're going to fill your fresh tank. I recommend always using a pressure regulator because you never know the PSI of the source of the water through the hose. And if it's too much PSI, the lines could bust, the lines could pop. You could have a weak connection, and you're going to have a wet mess everywhere. The cap just screws on there. It does have a bleeder valve there, so that way air can escape the line and you don't have to burp the line. The air will come out of there when you're filling it up. The top port is your city water connection. This is where you're going to hook that same hose and pressure regulator up to your unit. This is going to allow you to not have to turn your water pump on, and it won't use any of the water that you have in your fresh tank. So you hook your hose and regulator up to this. If the park or campground that you're staying at is going to provide you with water. You've got your freshwater drain down here below. When the oval shaped handle is parallel with the blue pipe, your valve is open. When it's like this, it's closed. This is how you're going to drain the fresh water from your freshwater tank. Right here with the 751 key that's on your key ring, this is where your outside shower is at. Let me get mine here. I'll show you what it looks like. Wrong, it's not the 751, but you've got your hot water on the left, your cold water on the right. It is on a hose that comes out. It's got a knob here that you can turn that will twist and stop the water flow, so you don't have to turn that off if you're gonna wash something and you don't want to have to turn your water pressure off. The hose and the head fit nicely up under the thing, up into the faucet. You've got a compartment here that will allow you to stick the head on that, so that way if you're going to wash your feet when you're walking around in the mud or whatever like that, you don't have to get your hands dirty or get your outside shower all dirty. Next to that, you have your furnace intake and exhaust. You've got your air going in here, or your air going in the bottom one, and the hot air coming out the top. This gets hot, so if you have any little kids or your pets or whatever around this, I recommend if you're going to run the furnace that you don't let them go around this, because it does get hot enough to cool the hair along your arms. I also recommend an aftermarket mud dauber screen, which we sell here. It's a $20 part, or it's $140 for us to fish the mud daubers out of your furnace vents. They love the smell of propane, and it's definitely worth the investment because those things get annoying. Your tires are spec'd to 65 PSI. And the lug nuts on all 4 of them are torqued to 100 foot-pounds. As per the sticker here, you want to make sure that you go off the PSI on the tires, and after about every 90, 100 miles, you want to go, it's 100 miles and 200 miles and then so forth and so on. You want to make sure that these are retorqued. But we torqued them here and we aired them up to the proper PSI. We come back here, you've got your black tank flush. This is where you're going to hook that same hose and regulator up that we use to fill your tank or connect to city water. You're going to connect it here. You're going to use this when your tank is empty and your black tank valve is open. You never want to use this when your tank is full, or else you're going to spray nasty water all up on the inside of your toilet, and it's going to get everywhere and it's going to be a hot mess, and it could damage your black tank. You're going to make sure that your black tank is open, which is this black knob here. That's going to be pulled all the way open. You're going to have your sewer connect hose here that's going to go into the proper dump station. You're going to connect your hose here. You're going to turn the water pressure on, and it's going to spin aerators in the bottom of your black tank to clean off all the gunk and all the mildew and all the yucky stuff out the inside of your black tank. This is going to be your gray tank valve. You're going to pull this when you want to drain your shower, your bathroom sink, and your kitchen sink. You always want to pull them in black first and then gray, because the gray tank is going to be a lot less nasty, and it's going to help it clean out the inside of these lines and stuff, so that way you don't get a whole bunch of gunk buildup on the inside of your unit. When you're not using your dump station, you want to take this cap, you want to fit it over the four knobs, and you want to give it a turn. It's just a fiction fit cap that'll lock into place when you're not using it. Behind that, we've got your cable and satellite outlets for if the park or campground that you're staying at is providing you with those services. You're going to hook the coaxial cord from their outlet to these outlets corresponding, whether it be cable or satellite, and that's going to provide you with the park provided cable or satellite into the inside of your unit. Here you've got your 50 amp short cord, 50 amp 36 foot short cord. In order to tighten it to the unit, you're going to push it in, you're going to give it a quarter turn, you're going to tighten this ring down. You want to make sure that when you're using your short cord that this ring is tight, because that's what's going to create the weather tight seal that's going to keep out the water, the dirt, and the bugs from getting into the connection and causing a short or an outage somewhere. When you're not using the cord and you undo this ring and you pull it out, you want to make sure that this cap is closed over the outlet, so that way, again, when you're not plugged into it, you don't have water, bugs, dirt, and all that other stuff getting into your outlet, because this is what's going to be providing you most of your power when you're at your station. You've got a light here that's going to turn on with a switch, so that way you can hook up and do all your stuff at nighttime. And then down below here is if you wanted to buy an aftermarket solar panel, you could plug your solar into this and charge your battery in your unit while you're not using it. On all 4 corners of your unit, you have these stabilizer jacks. I've been over this. These aren't for lifting and leveling the unit. They are for stabilizing it only. They aren't for lifting it off the ground. They aren't for making sure that it's level. They're just for making sure that it doesn't rock from side to side when you're in it. So you never want to try to use these to lift your unit up off the ground. Behind us, underneath the back rear bed, you've got your license plate bracket there for your license plates and your lights. Down below that, you do have a spare tire, which the PSI has been checked, and it is also at the 65 foot-pounds that it is supposed to, or the 65 PSI that it's supposed to be, along with your LP Quick Connect for your outside grills. Down here, if you wanted to get a rear-mounted outside grill. In order to use your LP Quick Connect, you're going to take the silicone cap out. You're going to take the male end of your Quick Connect hose, and you're going to slide back this copper ring exposing the ball bearings. You're going to stick that male end into the port until the flared base goes past the ball bearings, which then this should retract back and it should be flush with the hose stuck into it. Once you've got once you've got this one connected and you've got the same kind of connection onto the grill that you're going to be using, there's a valve here, and you're going to swing that open. You're going to swing that parallel with the port itself. That's going to allow the propane from the tanks in the front and the LP that's in your unit to flow through this quick connect port and allow you to access your grill. Again, I mentioned just a second ago, all 4 corners of your unit have stabilizer jacks. They aren't for lifting and leveling, they are for stabilizing the unit only. You know how many times I've heard, will this lift my camper off the ground? It will, but it's not supposed to.
And bad things could happen.
We'll get into the door and the handle when we get to the entryways. You do have 2 outside speakers that are connected to the stereo that's on the inside. You can run the stereo speakers for whatever you're listening to or watching in TV. You can run them that way. You can listen to just outside music, you can listen to just inside music, or you can do both at the same time. This is a door catch stopper. If in case you want to install one of those on your door, it's built in right there. Or they do make a TV mount that goes on that too. I just found that out recently. You've got your outside TV outlet coaxial port that you will take your coaxial cord, put it into this outlet, put it on the back of your TV, plug your TV into this 110 GFCI outlet on the outside, and you can get your TV on the outside of your service. You've got your hot water heater compartment right here. We're going to lift off this panel. That's going to expose the components to your hot water heater. It is electric and gas. So you can either start it on gas, which is the button on the inside, or you can come down here and you can flip this button on here. That's going to be your electric start. It's one or the other, not both. So it's either this button here or the button on the inside. You never want to run them both at the same time. Before you turn your hot water heater on electric or gas, you want to make sure that there's water in the tank. You never want to ignite your hot water heater tank when it's empty. In order to check to see if there's enough water in the hot water heater tank, you're going to lift up gingerly on this pressure release tab. You're going to see water come out. That means that your tank has enough water in it to light. Down below that, at the very bottom of the unit, you've got your anode rod. What that anode rod does is it provides a surface for the impurities in the water in your tank to eat away that rod before it eats away the inside of your hot water heater tank. When you do decide to light your hot water heater tank, if you light it on gas or electric, you're going to see a flame appear down here. That's how you know your hot water heater is lit. If it does not light for the first time, you can hit this button here to reset the pilot light, and it will attempt to relight itself.
And if you'd like to drain your hot water heater, that anode rod is a 1 1/16 inch socket.
That comes out. It is recommended that when you do winterize this, that you pop that anode rod out too. Down below the hot water heater is where your low water drain points are. You got a blue one for the cold water and a red one for the hot water. When they're in the perpendicular position like this, they're closed. Now they're open, as you can see. That's letting out all of the water that's left in the tank, in the drains, in the lines, anything it's gravity fed. These are the lowest 2 points and your water will escape from. Those are used for winterizing and de-winterizing the unit. You want to make sure that those are open when you're winterizing the unit. That lets the water in the antifreeze got somewhere to go in case it freezes and it moves down the lines. Down on this side, you've got your other side compartment that goes all the way over. Like I mentioned before, plenty of ample space, and you do have a light in here that's got 3 functions. Always on, off, and sensor. It will pick up motion, so you can leave that sensor one on. You can close this, it'll go off after about a minute. When you open this up, your light will come back on. Here's the sticker that's going to show you the torque pattern for your corresponding wheels, and it's going to show you the torque poundage that you're going to need to in order to torque them correctly. And that's your 4 out of 4 of your stabilizer jacks. There's one in all 4 corners. You do have a stove vent that when you're in travel position, it's held on by 2 knobs. You're going to want to make sure that those are pushed firmly in and they're clicked into place, because once they're clicked into place, that's closed. If you leave this open and you go down the highway doing 55, 60, all that's holding this little flap in is two little plastic tabs. A good strong gust of wind can come in and knock this thing right out, and once it's out, you're going to get bugs and all kinds of stuff going in your stove. But if you're going to run your vent fan above your oven and your stove, you're going to want to make sure that this is open. So this is one of the last things that I like to look for when I'm disconnecting and connecting back up to leave and open. If I'm going to be parking somewhere, I'll just give it an open. If I'm going to close it, I'll just close it up. We're going to go ahead and go inside the unit. In order to get your entry stairs up and down, I'm going to show you just like we pulled up at the campsite. So, we just pulled up at the campsite, we got her all set up, we got her all level. I opened the door, I got my stairs. In order to unlock the stairs from their threshold, you're going to pull back on this blue metal hook, L bracket. That's going to undo the lock, and you can lower your entry stairs. What I want to look for when I level my stairs is that if this grippy tape black portion here is flush with the threshold. That's going to give you ease of access for your door opening and closing, and it's also going to prevent any damage done to the bottom of your door and door frame from your entry steps being in the way when you go to close your door. If for whatever reason that black plate isn't flush with the threshold, down here you've got 2 silver tabs, one on each side of the legs of the stairs, that if they are up or down, you can hit this, and these legs have 18 points of retraction and extension that they can go into to get a level and flush support for your stairs. They don't have to be at the same, they can be independent. So if you're parked at a slight incline, you can make one higher than the other one. As long as the black grippy tape part of your entry steps is flush with the threshold, you won't do any damage to the bottom of your stairs. You do have a collapsible door handle that when the door is closed and you're in travel position, you will close it just like this. And in order to maneuver it, you'll lift up on it and you'll close it in the orientation. We'll come up in the unit. We'll start by pointing out that you do have a fire extinguisher by the door in case of emergencies, and that is below the brains of your unit, which is your control panel. We've got several different buttons in here, and I'll go over all of them. So this bat button is going to be your battery level. If you press that while it's plugged in, all 4 lights are going to show you that the battery is full. That's because you're providing power not only to the unit but also to your battery by having it plugged in. If I was to unplug this, it would show you the battery level, which should be full. This fresh button here, that's going to show you the level of your fresh tank, which is going to read the E for empty, 1/3, 2/3 full. Right now it's empty because I just drained the fresh tank, so that way there's no water in the unit when you come to pick it up. The black tank is going to be for your toilet. That's where all the nasties are going to go. Your black tank is also empty. It's going to show you empty, 1/3, 2/3 full. Gray 1 is going to be your kitchen sink and all of the rest of them. Your kitchen sink, your bathroom sink, and your shower. That's going to show you also on the empty, 1/3, 2/3 full. And your gray 2 and your gray 3 are not used in this unit. You do have your awning button here. If we hold it up, your awning is going to, it's going to roll out. When your awning is rolled out, you're going to want to make sure that the skirt that hangs from the bottom of the tube is flush up and down with the top of the canvas, which is at the top of the tube at the end of your awning arm. I'm going to go ahead and roll this out so I can show you what that looks like. That's going to give you not only the most optimum amount of stretch in your canvas, but that's also going to give you the appropriate amount of length on your canvas. It's stuck to the end, but I'll show you the skirt that hangs down at the bottom. Once you leave it rolled up, it does get so your awning will have a skirt on the end of it, which is this piece of fabric right here. That's going to keep the rain from coming in if there's a windstorm coming, or if it's windy while it's raining, or it's also going to give you some more shade on the inside of your unit. This is the orientation that when you extend your awning that you're going to want this awning to be at, is you want the skirt at the bottom and the canvas at the top. That's going to give you the most slack, and it's going to reduce on all the stress on the arms and stuff of your awnings. Your awning also has 2 pivot points in these lower arms here that you can push down on and pull up on, and what that's going to do is create a pivot point at the front or back side of your awning to provide the rain to come off of the back side or the front side, depending on which direction the rain is coming in at. When you go to push this back in though, when you go to retract your awning, you're going to want to make sure that these are as flush as possible, though. That's going to give you the most secure and flush retraction that your arms are going to provide you. There is no lights that run across the bottom of the awning, but you do have 2 LED mounted light brackets on either side of the arms that I will turn them on, and I'll show you what those look like. They're going to give you some light while you're sitting under your awning if you're sitting under here during the evening time or the night time. Go ahead and turn those back off. And then you're going to hold down, and that's going to retract your awning. If you hold the button up or down, if you hold the button out for too long, what it's going to do is that motor's going to spin it all the way back up the other direction, and that's going to be bad. I always recommend that when you're stepping away from your unit or you're not using your canvas, like at nighttime when you go to bed, or if you're going to hang out on the inside for a while, never leave your awning out. It's one of the most expensive repairs on a unit that you can get, all for a simple fact that you're just putting it up. I never recommend leaving it out if you're going to not be using it. Once it's flush with the unit, you can let go of the button and your awning is now put away. We're going to go to the buttons that are down here now. This is your water pump button. You're going to flip this on. It's going to light up, and then you're going to hear your water pump pressurize. It's going to thump and bump for a brief moment, and then it should stop if all of your lines are pressurized correctly. If it continues to thump and bump, you'll have air in your line, which then you can run all of your water fixtures out, and you can let all that air out, which they should spit and burp, and then the water pump should stop pressurizing, or you can bring it here and we can do that for you. This button here is going to be your water heater button. This is how you're going to start your hot water heater on gas. The button out on the outside was for electric. This is gas. You're going to flip this on. You've got a little DSI fault light here that's going to come on for a minute. It's going to go off. If the air conditioner is not running or you don't have any other noise, you can actually hear the pilot light attempt to ignite. It's going to click about 4 to 5 times. Once it ignites, the clicking will stop and this DSI fault light will go off. If the DSI fault light stays on after that, that means that it didn't light, and it's going to reset every 30 seconds to attempt to reignite until that DSI fault light goes off. These tabs here, they don't do anything. They're just placeholders. And then this is the switch that's going to turn your awning lights on and off. This next button here is your living room lights. They're all off right now. I wanted to show you this. So if they're in the off position, what we're going to do is we're going to come and we're going to turn all of these lights on. As you can see, they're not coming on, even if I manually press them, because the switch is off. But now that they're all in the on position, if I hit that button, all of these lights are now going to come on. You can change that by just turning each individual light off, but if you leave them all on, then this switch will power all of the interior lights on the ceiling of the unit. You do have a light underneath the sink that turns on in the same fashion. You have a light over the sitting area, turns on in the same fashion. I'll turn your air conditioner off and then we can, so I'm not shouting at you guys. So you do have a light underneath the kitchen sink and underneath the sitting area that is manual only. They only work by the light switch being touched. You have one right over by the beds that is manual only, and you have one underneath the top-mounted ceiling cabinet with your TV backer. They're all manual only, and there's one over above the rear bed that is also manual only. They will only turn off and on with the press of a button. While we're over here, you do have a sink, a large stainless steel basin sink that's got a hot and cold temperature faucet. Cold is all the way to the right, hot is all the way to the left, and to draw water from the unit, you pull back on the handle. It does have a sprayer feature built into the handle, so that way you can spray your vegetables, your fish, your whoever you want to spray, and it does have a stopper just like your standard kitchen sink. It comes with a counter space provider so you can wash your dishes and let them dry over the sink. It does have above head storage, which is where your owner's manual packet is at. This is going to have all of the information and all of your remotes for your stereo and all of the good stuff, along with any sort of user's manual / warranty stuff that you would need for the manufacturer, from like your hot water heater, your smoke detector, all that good stuff. Next to that is your Jensen stereo system. It's built into the unit. You're going to hit this button here. It's going to light up blue, and that's going to give you access to your stereo. It's got a knob that allows you to turn the volume up and down, and it's got several features such as your loudness for audio. These are your zone buttons. This is going to turn off inside speakers. As you can see, it said speaker A off. If I press that, the inside speakers turn on. If I turn this one, the outside speakers turn off. You can't have both speakers running at the same time. And if you look at this top row of buttons here, that's going to give you all of your different options: your AM, FM, your disc, your Bluetooth, your USB, and your auxiliary. So that way you can listen to any sorts of multimedia music that you would like to. In order to put it back into sleep mode, you press that button again and the lights turn off. Next to that, you have your glass turntable style microwave. It's your traditional microwave, just in a camper. It's got all your standard features. Underneath that, you have your light and fan for your stovetop. As you can hear, it did turn on. This is where but it was a slow start because if you remember, I did close your vent on your stove. So you're going to want to make sure that that's off, because with the vent closed and the fan on, you're just going to create heat for that motor to burn up with. You do have a 3-burner gas stove. This does get hot, but it is not a cooking surface. This is to provide protection and more counter space if you need it. In order to actually use your stove, you're going to flip up that, creating a backsplash. That's going to rest nicely against the actual backsplash of the unit. And in order to engage your burners, you're going to hit this button here, which is going to illuminate your dials. Once your dials are illuminated blue, You can pick which burner that you want to ignite. You push it in, the light dims. You turn it over to high. You hold that in for a few seconds, and you click that. That's how you're going to ignite your burners. You're going to hold that for a brief moment, then you can let go and you can adjust the temperature of the burners. In order to access your oven while you have this button equipped, you can turn this to the desired temperature. The light button, you can strike that. And if you see that spark, that's your pilot light trying to ignite. Once your pilot light is fully ignited, you can change this from the light symbol to the desired temperature, 320 or whatever, and you can push that in. As long as you've got that held in, your runners in the bottom of your oven will ignite that blue propane flame, and you'll know that your oven is ignited correctly. If you're going to try to turn your oven on, always make sure that the door is open, because if you don't, that extra propane while you're trying to get it to light will build up, and once you open it, it's got to go somewhere. When you're not using your stove, you lower this back down. That way during travel, it'll lock. It's got 2 silicone feet that keep this from going anywhere once it's lit. Over here, you've got your General Electric refrigerator freezer combo. Ample storage space. There's your temperature control there on the right hand side of the wall. It's a dial. We usually try to set those on a colder setting, so that way when you're ready to pick it up, it's ready for your snacks and your beer. I like to leave those in there so that way this keeps this from rattling around. These cardboard pieces keep it from rattling around while you're driving around in it.
And this is your travel lock?
That'll swing over to the front of the unit, and that'll keep this door from opening and closing while you're driving down the road. Next to that, you have ample storage for your snacks, for your tackle boxes, whatever else you're taking this thing doing. Throw pillows.
Always throw pillows.
You've got ample storage down in these cabinets. Now that we're back to over here, you've got your TV backer here. This is going to be where you can put your wall-mounted television bracket with your GFCI protected outlet right here. Because it is next to a heat source and water source, it is GFCI protected. Below that is a dual USB port, so you can plug in your USB chargers for your phone, whatever else is you're trying to charge. Up above that, there's an HDMI port access, so you can plug in your HDMI cord or whatever it is you're wanting to provide you with HDMI service. Then below that, you have your satellite and cable hookup, and then your antenna hookup. If you're trying to watch antenna television, you're going to hook your coax cable from your TV to this one. You're going to press that button. If that orange light's on, you're going to get antenna channels. If that orange light's on, you're not going to get cable and satellite. If the orange button is off, you're going to get cable and satellite provided to you by wherever else you're parked, but you're not going to get antenna. All of the shades in your unit are pull and release shades, so you can pull them down to the desired length, and then to get them to go back up, you just tug them down real quick and let them go, and they'll go gingerly back up into their nesting area. You do have ample storage above your television, along with the Wi-Fi wall adapter, where if you were to ever purchase Wi-Fi for this thing, that's where that would mount to. You do have a sitting area here. The poles underneath the table do come down, and this can turn into a sleeping area if you want. In order to get to your hot water heater for winterizing and de-winterizing it, you're going to remove this cushion here, and there's a panel that you can remove with size 2 squares underneath this side of the couch here. That's how you're going to get into your hot water heater tank.
Call on line 1, Todd, line 1.
On this side of the bag unit, you do have above storage up here, along with
Hey, Ed, do you have a copy?
a speaker that's going to power by the Jensen stereo, the air conditioning lever that's going to blow the cold air from the air conditioner on this side of the unit. You've got one of the 3 most important parts of one of the 3 most important safety features of your unit, which is the smoke detector, which, if you look at this little LED clear light here, that's going to flash periodically. That's showing you that it is working. If it starts beeping, the battery needs to be changed. I recommend checking the LP detector, and kind of giving your fire extinguisher a glance over about every 90 days, about every 3 months. Underneath that, you have your couch sitting area, which is directly facing the TV, but this also converts into a sleeping area. By simply lifting up on this and pulling it out, this will fold down into a nice, neat sleeping bed. In order to get this back up into the couch orientation, you just lift up on it, kind of give it a tug, and it converts back into your sitting couch. You have upper storage up here for blankets and towels or whatever else is you want. It passes all the way through, so you could honestly even put like fishing rods and stuff up here too. These hang down brackets that go with these floor mounted brackets here are to keep your mattresses in the upright position when you're in travel position. There's one in the front bed and there's one in the back bed. So when your mattress is up like this, you can loosen the bracket, the clip bracket, and you can clip that in, and that'll keep your mattresses from jostling all over your unit while you're driving around town with it. Down below us, you have ample storage underneath. You have your furnace vent next to that. And then on my side of the bracket over here, you've got your 110 outlet on the floor. And then these black vents that you see periodically throughout the unit, those are your furnace vents. That's where the hot air is going to come from. So if you're going to put anything in front of those, make sure it's not stinky. One thing I forgot to mention before we go outside and I show you how to operate this bed, which is going to be one of the last things that we go over, is your circuit breaker down here below the refrigerator. Touch it with your finger, it's going to open up. You've got your circuit breakers here and your fuse box at the top. The fuses are built in with a red LED so that if one of these ever burns out, you'll see a red LED illuminate underneath and that'll show you which one is burnt. You'll close it with the touch of a finger. And the third and final most important part of your safety features on your unit is your LP and carbon monoxide detector. That thing's going to beep loudly and it's going to show you a red light if there's ever any loose carbon monoxide or LP. So that little glowing green light at the bottom of it, that's what you're going to want to see. And you're going to want to check that device by testing it every 30 days. And you can do that by holding the test mute button for about 3 seconds. So we're going to go outside. Oh, no, we're going to go into the bathroom. I forgot that I had a bathroom. So once we get into the bathroom, got a porcelain toilet here. It's got 2 modes. Put your foot halfway down on it, the tank's going to fill with water. If you floor it, it's going to let everything in the bowl go down into the black tank. It's got 2 modes. So you just gingerly put your foot on it, it's going to fill with water, and you can lower it down and it's going to continuously spray water and it's going to empty out to your black tank. The light switch for your bathroom is right here by the commode. That's going to turn on and off the singular light, which is also manually powered. It does have an air conditioning louver, so you do get vented air conditioning into your bathroom in case business gets risky. And then above here, you've got your fan on and off button, and then it opens up by the turn of a dial. Oh, it's locked. Oh. There we go. I was spinning it the wrong direction.
Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
That's going to open that up, which is going to let an airflow come in case, again, business gets risky.
In case things get weird.
And you've got 4 settings. So you've got like moderate risky, questionable risky, bad risky, and oh no, please vacate risky. And you can turn that off, and then you never want to run the fan though with the vent closed, because again, all that's going to do is just suck the hot air that's already being pushed out back up into the motor, and it's just going to rinse and repeat, and you're going to burn your motor up real quick that way. On the other side of us, we've got your walk-in shower. It does have a shower curtain on a rod that you can pull for privacy in case you don't want anybody seeing you shower. You've got hot on your left and cold on your right, and a button up here that stops the water flow at the shower head. And above you, you've got a skylight so you can shower in the natural beauty of the earth. Behind me is the sink, hot on the left, cold on the right, just like every other faucet in this unit. You've got a friction stopper that's just going to sit nicely down in your drain, so that way if you ever need to wash your face or shave, you don't have to worry about all that going down the sink. You've got a medicine cabinet here that's got 2 shelves for your aspirin, your Tylenol, whatever else it is you want to put in there. And then down below, you've got your understorage for your towels, your hand towels, your soaps, or whatever else it is you want to put down in there. I don't judge.
And then you've got your outlet.
And you've got your 110 outlet for your hair blow dryers, whatever else it is you want to plug in there, your shaver, in case that's what you're going to do while you're out hanging out. And now we're going to get to the beds. Oh, your GE thermostat. I keep forgetting stuff. It's hot. You've got your mode button here, which if you press that right now, it's in the off position. It's going to backlight. It's going to show you your fan on mode. The little snowflake with cool, and your set temperature is going to be your air conditioner. If we click that again, it's going to go to furnace. If we click it again, it's going to turn off. But we're going to keep it on cool until you get here, so that way your unit's pretty nice if you want to look around while you're in here. You got your fan controls, which is going to increase and lower your fan. and you've got your temperature up and your temperature down, which is going to decrease and increase the temperature of the unit. So now we get to the fun part, which is the pop-outs on either side. So I'm going to show you what the inside of one fully put up looks like, and then I'm going to show you how to break it down and put it back up. So this is what it's going to look like when it's open. You've got a rod here that's going to be your top support for your roof on the pop-out unit. That's going to be connected down in the center of the bracket that's connected to the unit that's going to create the back wall for the pop-up. The rod is an L-shaped rod that's got a small hole at the top, which is going to fit into, I'll pop this one out real quick so you can see it. It's got a little notch there that's going to fit down into this hole. It's pretty simple. There's a black plastic T-frame piece that will connect to the back part of the roof bracket. I don't know if you can see that above the exit sign. That's a foot that this pole is going to sit into, and then you're going to push it until that little notch goes through the hole, and that's going to provide you with your structural support for the pop-up portion of your bed. The sides are part of the walls. The metal lines that hold this up are also going to create kind of a stiffer wall section, and then there's a C-shaped metal rod that runs through the back that's going to give you the back support. Your mattress does fold in half, so that way when you're in travel position they can fold up, and again these black straps here keep your mattress in the upright position, so that way they're not flying all over your camper when you're in the travel position. So when you do finally get to your destination, you're undoing your pop-ups, you fold your mattress in half, or you unfold your mattress in half, and it lays out pretty flush. The mattresses themselves are heated, and in the corner down by the tags there is a small outlet right underneath that sticker logo. I'll show you on the other mattress, but there's a plug-in down here that you can plug into your standard 110 outlet, and this will plug into the outlet on the mattress, and you can adjust the heat on your mattress, so that way if you're sleeping somewhere where it's cold, your bed is actually heated up, because there's nothing underneath those except for nature. Each one of the pop-outs does include a fan that will hang on these support bars here, or if you want to sleep with it in your face, we'll connect to one of these, so you can have it blowing down on your face, or you can have it blowing cold air from the air conditioner inward. It is plugged into the unit by this auxiliary jack, just like on a guitar for your music players. Just like that, and you've got these two white ports that once this plugs in, it's got two switches. There's a light at the bottom which you can turn on and off, so you can have reading light, and then it's got a fan high and fan low settings, so that way you can have a light breeze or you can have it blowing in your face.
So you always have a fan.
So you always have a fan, and I've put both of the fans.
Is it your biggest fan?
No, I've got bigger fans than this.
I figured you had bigger and more fans.
So both of the fans, there's one for each side of the pop-out, and there's a mattress warmer for each side of the pop-out. I keep them underneath this compartment here, so that way they're all together all the time. There is a second compartment door down here. It's got the other fan in there, but it's all one big compartment door. Up above, you have more storage space. That's would be where I would keep tools and stuff if you were going to need those. And each one of the pop-ups has a curtain rod that you can draw for privacy. That way everybody can sleep kind of in their own little rooms. We're going to go back outside now, and I'm going to show you how to I'm going to show you how to open up one of the pop-outs. And they're mirrored on both sides. So if you know how to do one, you're going to know how to do this one as well. So if we come outside, the first thing that we're going to do is you've got these, there's one on each side, there's a bracket. You're going to lift up on the hook, and you're going to swing this arm down. Once this arm is free of this hook, this whole arm is going to swivel off. You really want to do this side first because this one's got the handle, but it doesn't really matter. And then you can bring these down. These actually lock too, so that way you can lock your pop-ups up, so that way nobody can kind of get into them through that way. Then once you have both of those brackets free, you're gonna bring your canvas and your pop-up down. Once you have this down, then we're gonna go back into the unit. I'm gonna show you how to put that arm on the foot and put the bed up. So that way you don't just have a piece of wood hanging out of your unit. So once you have the pop-up actually down, you're going to take your long bar, and it does telescope, but you don't have to break these down unless you're just trying to store them better. But these can fit perfectly long ways right here at the edge of where the pop-up is, underneath your mattress, so that way you don't even have to worry about it. You can just leave them fully out like this. Once we have this out, what I like to do is I like to tilt my mattress down, because it kind of helps keep the canvas out of my face when I'm trying to get this bed in. And then you're going to take the back support, which is going to be this rod here, this C-shaped rod with that black foot. If you can see that black foot, it's just attached plastic. It's just a pressure clamp. You're going to what I like to do is I like to use the friction from that to push that out. And then once you get to the proper orientation, it should be flush with your hand. You're going to work that into that black foot. You're going to bring this pole up, and you're going to lock that onto that little notch. That's going to provide you with your roof and your walls to your pop-up. And it's the reverse of that to break them down. You pull this first. You do that by pushing it forward, unlocking it from the ceiling of the unit. You let this go. This is the only thing keeping that bracket up. So once you remove this, that bracket will fall inward, and then you can go on the outside. You're going to want to make sure that this is in the upright position, because you can't bring this up with this mattress being down. So these have to sit just like this, which is why they're provided with the wall straps that you can tighten to where this isn't going to fly out into your unit and mess everything up. Once you have this up, you can go on the outside, flip that rod down, tuck the walls in, push that wall back up, and lock them back under there. And when you come to pick this up, I can show you that too. I can show you in person how to do that. The outlet on the mattresses, I said I was going to show you on this one. I'm going to manhandle this mattress real quick. Pay no attention to that. Dang it.
Wrong way.
Wrong way. So if we look here, that little 3-prong outlet right there is where you're going to plug that heater pad into. That's going to plug into any 110 outlet in the unit. That's what's going to provide you with the heat under your mattress. I think we're at the point where I can say, if you have any other questions, I'll be here. My name is Trey. You can ask me those. You can call anytime. My name is Trey. I'm here at Parkland RV. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Happy camping and good luck. Thank you.